very quickly at the moment. This is what happened today. Another win for Arsenal. They beat Crystal Palace by a goal to nil. Eberechi Eze got that. Matty Cash got the Villa goal as Villa beat Manchester City by a goal to nil. Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0. At Molineux, Burnley were 2-0 up. Wolves got it back to 2-2 by the break, and then Lyle Foster got the winner late on in the second half to give Scott Parker's side all 3 points, and then confirmation of the result here with Spurs winning 3-0 at Everton. So this is what all of those results do to the table. We'll start at the bottom, and Wolves remain rooted there with that late defeat to Burnley. They're 6 points off safety now. West Ham and Nottingham Forest the other side in the bottom 3. Burnley have that 5-point cushion over Nottingham Forest. Everton in 14th after that defeat this afternoon. And then the top of the table, Arsenal have a 4-point lead over Bournemouth, who are second after that win over Nottingham Forest. Spurs win here puts them into third. Manchester City and Manchester United both on 16 points, and outside the top 4, Sunderland holding on to their place there.
Who would have picked that top 4 at the start of the year?
Well, you wouldn't have picked that, would you?
No chance, no.
Would you pick that for the end of the year?
God, I mean, it's great to see, though, isn't it?
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant, brilliant table. Right, following us on Sky Sports main event, which is to come from here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where Tottenham's very, very good away record has continued.
Kev, Mickey, first of all, Mickey, you are absolutely flying at the moment. That was your 5th of the season, those goals here this afternoon.
Yeah, crazy. 2 goals in a game. I never scored 2 goals in one game, so yeah, unbelievable feeling.
Do you know the last time a Tottenham defender scored 2 goals in a game was 12 years ago? So it's been a long time coming.
So that's a long time ago. I didn't know that, to be honest, so that's great to break that again.
Kev, just a word on the performance away from home. This run continues. It takes you up to 3rd now in the Premier League.
Yeah, just really good work we put in today, defensively and offensively. Created a lot of chances, defended really well, and thanks to this man, we got 2 early goals.
Thanks to this man, but also your goalkeeper as well, because there was couple of really good reaction saves to keep that clean sheet too.
Yeah, even in the midweek game, he saved us. He gave us a clean sheet away from home as well, and another one today. They've been fantastic, and I'm happy to be a part of this team.
Mickey, 4 away wins already this season. There weren't many more. Last season, I think it was 5. What do you put that down to? I know you've got to get that balance right at home, but away from home, what do you put it down to?
Yeah, of course, it's always difficult to play away from home, to be honest, but I think we show some great mentality again today, and every time when we play an away game, in the Premier League, it's going to be really tough, so you need 100% of everyone from the team, and I think today also everyone showed great character. The strikers, the midfielders, the defensive line, was some of what you said. Vicario had some great saves, so yeah, top performance from us today.
All-round team performance.
Yeah, fantastic, and of course.
You've beaten me to it.
Yeah, player of the match. I've got to give it to him.
We've got to give you the player of the match award.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip home.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Talk a lot more about Mickey van der Ven and the goals shortly. But Kevin Danso, first of all, is quite an underrated player for Spurs. People always go on about them missing Romero, but he doesn't often put a foot wrong for them.
No, of course not. And I think you've got to understand that it's a squad game. A lot of people are going to talk about Romero, going to talk about Mickey van der Ven, but Danso's done fantastic. We saw that again tonight. The way he went about his job, on the ball, he's a ball-playing centre-half, and he wants to defend his goal as well. And keeping a clean sheet away here at Everton was a tough ask, but they've done it fantastically well. 18 clearances, 11 more than any other player. I sound like I'm clever. I've got one of the stats guys, but that just shows you how good he was today. I thought he was immense. And when you haven't got your captain, your leader, you need someone that's going to step up. And that partnership looks really good. They didn't look like they missed Romero too much. And he's also got what Thomas Frank will love, as I mentioned before, a really long throw. So set pieces is important to have in the team. I thought his passing's really good, his experience.
But
I thought he was excellent today.
He had quite a tough baptism, really, didn't he, last season? When you think when he came in, they had all their defensive problems. He was sort of trying to guide Archie Gray alongside him. He was a natural centre-half. So He had quite a tough baptism
Really
as
difficult.
well.
I mean, it looks a bit, when you look at the the current market, £20 million from Lons is not that expensive, and he's quick, he's aggressive, and he's coming in, not always going to start games. It depends if you want to play a back three. Obviously, you've got three really strong centre-backs, but he just adds so much to your team. Looks like a really solid citizen.
Yeah, of course, and I think that's the key to it. When you come into the Premier League, it's a tough ask. Unless you get used to it straight away, it's going to be hard. And whether they're playing in a back three, playing in a back four, you've got to adjust as a centre half as well. So, at times it was tough last season, but I think he's stepped up really well. Instead of, like you say, in the place of Romero, and the partnership between him and Mickey van der Ven today was fantastic.
Let's look at the first goal then and the set piece, Jamie.
Yeah, they've got Andreas Jorgensen's coming as a set-piece coach. He worked with him at Brentford before, and obviously the detail is so important. This is something it didn't really look like they were ever going to score from set pieces last year, but Benson Kerr is a really important part to this because he's almost like he's playing like he's not too interested. He goes to the front, then you see him go to the back. Mickey van der Ven then obviously has that trigger. He takes Jack Grealish out of the way. Then you want Paulina to do a great job on Keane and Dewsbury Hall, and then he gets that ball across Benson Kerr, and then he's all on his own. Just watching Paulina here, he's getting hold of Keane, he's getting hold of Dewsbury Hall, stopping them doing anything, Ashley.
It's that aggression in both boxes that you want. If you're one of the blockers that, you talk about plenty now, that set pieces are massively important. So, it's one of them things that you've got a job to do as a blocker, and you're trying to stop their main headers, and Michael Keane's one of them. And, you see he takes two people out of the way for Bentancur to get around the back post and, get the ball back across. I'm not sure he meant it with his shoulder, but, you're taking whichever way you can.
Exactly. And I think as well, for Mickey van der Ven, with a manager coming in, because you always want to get better, always want to improve. And I think he's probably looked at it and thought, you're so strong, he's tall, he's aggressive, wants to win it. Perfect. And Thomas Frank is all about details, set pieces, making sure you're really difficult to beat both boxes, which they've obviously improved. They've got the best defensive record from set pieces against. But looking, every time the ball comes in the box, you always think, if they get that first contact, he's going to be one that's going to land on it. And he was so efficient today and so good in those areas. And obviously the second one, just too strong for Jordan Pickford.
When you look at that first one, and when Jamie highlights the different things, there are so many intricacies to that. Have set pieces in your time, in the last couple of years, let's say, have they got more intricate and more complicated? Because 3 or 4 different things need to happen there for Van der Ven to go on the end of it.
Yeah, of course, you've got the person taking the set piece itself, you want it to be on the money, and then you've got everyone that's, whether you're a blocker, whether you want to get free from your markers in the box, whether you're blocking the goalkeeper. There's so much that goes into it, and if you set the standard by putting the ball on the money, like I said, then that's the starting point about it. But there is so much that comes to it now, and over the years it's become more and more, whether it be a long throw, whether it be corners, whether it be kicks, that everybody needs to know their jobs, and it's always up in the dress rooms that you take note of before the games, and if everyone's doing their jobs and, like I say, the ball is put perfectly well, you got a great chance from scoring from that.
You're picking players a lot now, Mark, on can they take set pieces? They're going to be good in both boxes in terms of their height. That's how the game is going. It's developing. It's going that way. And you can see the second one again. Mickey van der Ven, this one isn't anything too clever. They do something very similar sort of setup to what Arsenal do so well. Van der Ven just gets in front of Jordan Pickford, slight push, and then he just gets up early, and Jordan then just can't really react. He just bullies him, really. Look, he gets up, he's up above him. Great header from Mickey van der Ven. But these are the details. You talk with players now, and if I throw back to my days, if you did a few set pieces on a Friday morning, there's the corners, who's taking corners today? OK, him. And then maybe you do a few set pieces. You never, ever talked about defending a throw-in. That would never come into the equation. But obviously now you have to be able to deal with that. And all the different set pieces you have now, actually, you have to obviously have a level of intelligence to understand what each one means and where you're going to be standing as well. Because if you get it wrong, you're going to let the team down.
Yeah, of course there is. And, you could be a team that goes for it 3-4 times a week.
Is that how many times you'll do it? Yeah,
I think that's what. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. But, it's one of the things. Set pieces are crucial now.
Yeah.
Whether that's defending them, whether that's attacking them as well. So there's so much that goes into it with set piece coaches now, and they have the different routines. One week you could be doing something totally different to another week. So players now have to switch on so much to work out what it is, whether you're attacking, whether you're defending. Of course, Thomas Franks was massive on set piece at Brentford. So, I'm sure he's taken that into Tottenham and worked on it non-stop. And when you put the ball on the money, you get the rewards from it.
And that's the key. They're putting the ball on the. I mean, the 2 deliveries for those 2 Tottenham corners are absolutely on the money.
And that's what you need. You need the set piece taken to put them on the money, and that's worked on. And that's all throughout the week you'll be taking corners and. We had different things where a set piece coach is making sure you put it exactly where the boys are going to attack it, and you can see that exactly. That's what has been worked on throughout the week. That they've got ones that are going back post, they've got some that are going onto the goalkeeper. There's all different routines that you're going to go through, and like you say, if the execution is right with a set piece taker. You've got
you can certainly take a free kick as well on corners. So you're still. How old are you now, Ash?
I'm 40.
40. You can still got a couple of years now.
Now
you're
still young in this studio. Actually, still young in this studio. Look, Everton had a goal disallowed in between those, and we'll look at those a bit later when we hear from David Moyes. In the second half, Vicario had to keep Spurs in it in a couple of situations. Back of a man of a match performance in the Champions League on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they needed him today, and he's playing with a bit of confidence. Obviously, got an element of luck mentioned beforehand, but that's a really good save there. It's fantastic, good improvisation as well. Little bit unlucky. He needs something to go his way, doesn't he? But that was a really good save, and that's what you need your goalkeeper to make important saves. Because all of a sudden that's 2-1, they're back in it, and especially here it's so difficult because the crowd get their tails up. And he felt something might happen, Ash, but he never quite got that head of steam, did they?
Yeah, that's what we was wanting. Even this one's a fantastic save. I think it takes 2 deflections coming through, and as a goalkeeper saving that,
must have seen that late.
He has. He's seen it very late, but you obviously see the manager congratulating there. He had a great performance today, and when you've got a keeper like that in good form, it gives you a good starting base.
Just on the final Tottenham goal as well, and what it highlights is the strength in depth that the 2 subs combining.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want subs to come on and make an impact. And you see, Bergvall there picks up the ball, he passes it out wide. You see Pedro Porro obviously running forward now, and Everton would get a goal. So of course there was going to be spaces open, but Richarlison's header back across you want to put it in a great area, and there you go. Perhaps Sarr's on the end of it to score the goal.
It's a good header back, that, isn't it?
Brilliant, really is, yeah. Because this is what you need your team. You need your subs to come on. They've got to make a real difference. That's the part of the game now. I mean, we talk about, I don't like you to say finishers or whatever you want to say, but they are players that got to come on with the right attitude. Thomas Frank will be for that to happen, and it gives that a bit of togetherness as well. And that was a really important goal. It just killed the game, obviously killed the crowd in terms of the intensity. And I thought they deserved it. I thought, Tottenham showed a lot of quality today, and there's more to come. I mean, Thomas Frank will want more at home, and that was something that I feel with him more.
I completely agree. I think we tried to build something and add layers to the team all the time. I think the back 4 and Vicario was very good. I think the whole team was good, but also João Palhinha and Rodri in the middle was fantastic. And then actually all the subs that came on made a difference. As I said that to the boys after the game is so important. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to play 90 minutes, but this is a long season and we're going to need everyone.
Thomas, Jamie Redknapp, congratulations. Fantastic win for your team. I want to talk about Mickey van der Ven. Obviously a very important player, not just a good defender, but it feels like you've unearthed something in his responsibility from set pieces. Gabriel at Arsenal was obviously so important for them, the way he attacks the ball, and it feels like you're getting Mickey van der Ven to do something very similar at the moment.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with Mickey. Super important player today. Very good defensively, good on the ball. But I actually from the season said we need more goals from you. And yeah, you can see there in the picture that we need more headed goal. I think he scored a few with his left and right foot, and that was not good enough for me. He needs to do it with the head, and now he scored 3. So very happy with that. So he really take it on board, being more aggressive, determined, wanted to go in. Hurts. And great job from Andreas and everyone around the set pieces.
No, you're certainly doing that well. And just away from home, the form's been fantastic. 13 of your 17 points have come away. The home form, how do you sort of change it and make the team a little bit more comfortable so you can play with that kind of that confidence at home that you feel like you can get those 3 points as well?
Yeah, very happy with the away performances and form there. It's normally incredibly difficult to do what we are doing now. So pleased with that, and we just need to add the layers to the team. They should have a lot of confidence playing home in front of our fantastic fans, and we just need to keep going.
Thomas, we're all having so much discussion at the moment about long throws and set pieces and what's back in fashion and what's coming back. And 19% of all Premier League goals this season have come from corners. Does that stat surprise you?
A little bit, but I think it's fair to say that the set pieces, or the focus on the set pieces overall, has been raised over the last 2-3 years. No doubt that we in Brentford, I still say we in Brentford because still they have a little bit there.
Yeah.
And we in Tottenham, but let's say we in Brentford had a big focus at it. But then the big boys took it up. Arsenal, Liverpool, City, I would say the last couple of seasons. Everyone really can see it's such a key element you need to get right. I say all the time, if you want really to achieve something, you need to be able to compete and do well in all areas of the game. Set pieces, defending high, defending low, building up, attacking. I think it's a key area.
Do you think finally it will change recruitment departments and what they are looking at in the physicality of players, this trend that we are in?
I think it could do. I think you need to look into it. Or I'll put it this way, depend on what you want from your team. And if you want to be good on set piece, you need to have a certain amount of physicality and heading abilities, and of course, good deliveries. So you need to get the right mix.
Thank you for giving us your time this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank
Cheers,
you, guys.
Thomas. Thank you.
Cheers, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas.
It will, won't it? Do you not think?
I would have thought so. I think the days of if you've got a keeper that can't command his area, he's going to be in big trouble in the future if it carries on at this trajectory. Defensively, you're going to be picking teams that have height in it, or that at least can jump. It doesn't mean because you're tall, because it doesn't mean you're going to be good in the air, but it's certainly a big advantage. Like you mentioned, physicality. These are the details. I mean, it has got to that level, and I've got no problem with it. I think the game now needs it. I think sometimes we have to be careful we don't let data run the game completely, and that's a big part of the game is having that imagination, shooting from outside the box. I've heard Thomas talk about not liking players shooting from outside the box. Personally, I think there's never been a better time to shoot from outside the box. The ball moves so well, the pitches are perfect. But there are elements that I absolutely love. When the clubs like Brentford that take it to another level, and what Keith Andrews is doing there, and Arsenal obviously embraced it. And we look at Arsenal and you think, well, they're a club that have obviously got fantastic players, and sometimes there's a bit of snobbery that goes alongside long throws and corners. But you have to embrace it now, Ashley. Yeah,
of course you do. And, like you're saying, it's becoming more and more part and parcel of football, the set pieces. And like you say, you've got set piece coaches in pretty much every team now, and they've got a massive job to play, and they do a massive job throughout the week to make sure the players are prepped and ready for when the games come around. So, I think that this is the way that football's going, that, set pieces are becoming a massive part of what teams are doing now. And like you say, the Arsenal's, teams previous years, you wouldn't have said Arsenal teams were, set piece, a massive set piece threat like they are now. And, many goals that they've scored have come from set pieces. So, it's massively important in football now. And,
but I suppose the question, Ashley, is, and bearing in mind your career has spanned, 20 plus years now? The question really is, at what point did it go away?
And why did it?
Why did it go away?
Well, I think that, you go back to even, long throws. Tony Pulis with Rory Delap, he was the one that first started, and I think that then went out of football. And, like you say, why did it? Well, I think it was, like you say, a bit of snobbery, people saying, Stoke are just a set-piece team. Whereas now you look and you think, how many teams are now scoring from set pieces and taking long throws and, getting the ball in the box? Nobody's really looking at it as like a snobby way. So, it's who knows when it went out and when it's come back in. But, if it's working for top teams, then, I think a lot of teams are going to carry on doing it.
It brings back bad memories for me, because I played with Rory Delap at Southampton, and we didn't even know we had a long throw. and to add to it, we had 6'7" Peter Crouch. We could have stayed up. I blame the manager. It's my dad.
But the point being, around then, it's not like everybody suddenly thought, we can deal with Rory Delap's long throw, and therefore people tried to stop doing it because teams got used to dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's always been.
I think there's an element of snobbery. I think that's what it is now, and I think with coaches and set-piece coaches becoming, it's not just a fashion, it's here. So you don't look back, and you never have felt years ago, we talk about some of the great iconic managers, sort of Alex Ferguson with years. I want to thank my set-piece coach. He made a point there of thanking Andreas George because he knows he's done a great job today and really appreciate what he's done. And that's just the way the game's gone. It's here to stay, and there'll be another edge next year. You know, we look at even if the way every team or 99% of teams when you watch the Premier League or throughout the leagues. Even at kick-off now, they get the ball, they pass it back to the goalkeeper. You see a little bit of sort of NFL blocking, and they boot it up the pitch. Managers and coaches, a lot of them are, without being disrespectful, a bit like sheep. They follow each other, and that becomes a fad. There'll be something else. Someone else all of a sudden will go, OK, let's not pass it back to the keeper. Let's play it wide quickly, and all of a sudden you can get across into the box, which Brentford used to do really well last year. So you're always trying to find an edge, and that's where the stats guys, analytics, that's all part of the game now.
I think that's what's come in more and more of, stats has been talking about set-piece coaches. And, I think if we go back years, there wasn't set-piece coaches at all. They've become more and more popular because, like you say, that, one manager's got a set-piece coach in, this is the new norm now. So everyone's going to start getting set-piece coaches. You see people scoring from it. So, of course, you're going to do more and more set-pieces. So, like it is, people do follow people in certain ways. And I think that's why we're seeing more and more set-piece coaches out there.
But at times, say when you were starting out, were your set pieces kind of presumably somebody would have been coaching set pieces, just not called? They would have just been a coach.
I think at times the set piece coaches were actually goalkeeping coaches, and at times they were the ones that would deal with the set pieces. And at times you'd go into training and you'd have different routines, but it wasn't highlighted like it is now. Whereas you've got set piece coaches that will take players away that are starting in teams and work on it 3-4 times a week, whereas back then it was maybe on a Friday morning you'd work out, right, we're going to do this set piece on tomorrow, and then come the following week it was totally different.
Yeah, so
I mean, the other slightly odd thing in all of this is if you've got set piece coaches, then you should be able to defend them as well as you're attacking them, and yet more goals are being scored from them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do get. But on the flip side, Spurs, I think, have only conceded one this year. Man City
and Everton
Spurs
actually haven't conceded any here
exactly.
until today.
So they're very good in that respect. But what Ashley's saying is spot on. If you haven't got it or you're not doing it, you look like you're a bit of a dinosaur as a coach. You have to follow these trends because of the set pieces and the corners and the throw-ins. And that's why throw-ins are so hard to stop, because you can't, that first contact, you can never get it away as far as you can from a corner. So the ball is always in the box. It makes it more difficult to defend. And that's why having Danso in your team, who's got an enormous throw, is worth having. It's a great advantage.
You've got the stats guy in your ear. Yeah, I've got a Spurs fan in my ear going, get this graphic on. Show us how well Spurs are doing under Thomas Frank. And he's had a good start, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a very good start. And you look at that, the wins that he's had there, and obviously there's a couple losses, but not too many, a couple draws. But the way he's had his start to this season, as a Tottenham fan, I think you'd take that definitely. And especially coming to a place like Everton, it's not an easy place to come. And walking away with a 3-0 win, going into the games that they've got coming up as well. It's not easy, but you can take confidence out of what they've produced today and take that into the next few games that they've got coming up.
But I suppose what you could say, Jamie, is if you sort of go up to that Wolves game, the Wolves was a draw at home, Bodo Glimt, the Champions League, a draw away, beaten at home by Villa, the draw with Monaco when Vicario really kept them in it. They've had a run whereby if today hadn't gone very well, it would have been a very different conversation.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're trying to say. You're spot on. It is. That's how precarious football management is, and especially when Tottenham fans are maybe just wanting a little bit more, understandably, like when they see Bentancur and Paulina saying, is that not a bit too defensive? Not for me. I actually like those two together. I think they work really efficiently together, and I think sometimes it's the forward players that have got to do a bit more. You need a bit more from Xavi Simons. You need a bit more from your wide players. I think Solanke's a big miss as well. Once Dominic Solanke comes back, he gives them something completely different. James Maddison, Kulusevski, players that are really important from an attacking perspective. So I think things are going really well. He's come in, made a real difference. He's improved a lot of the important things that weren't so good last year. And he took on the team. You have to remember they won a cup. And what Ange did there was a fantastic achievement. So he'll look at it and think, what's next now? How can we keep improving? Can we have a good cup run? Can we do well in the Champions League? But I like the way he talks. He talks a lot of common sense.
Let's just show you the fixtures that Spurs have got coming up. as well. And there's a huge few games on the way. They've got the Carabao Cup during the week. That's
Great
Wednesday
game.
night. You'll see that with us here on Sky Sports. But then look at that. Next weekend, Chelsea at home, Ashley. And then their next home game is Manchester United before they go to Arsenal. So with Chelsea at home and Manchester United at home, if you're going on the positive side of things, they're great fixtures to try and fix your home form.
Yeah, of course they are. I think you want to play against the teams that are going to be up around there at the end of the season. And you know, Thomas Franks has alluded on it. He wants the away form to be at home as well. And I think, especially in that stadium, they'll be able to get that with the fans. And you know, if they can go and put on performances like we saw today, you know, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic games that we're going to be seeing against, like say, Chelsea's and the Manchester United. And you know, if they get them wins there, you know, the home fans will be, you know, delighted.
Cool. When they play Arsenal, have to get the set-piece coach cam. The two coaches, they'll be at the front when they'll be loving it. This is their time to shine. The two set-piece coaches, they'll be all over this one.
The two of us, and it didn't help either of us. Right, let's hear from the Everton manager, David Moyes, shall we? They had that goal disallowed when they were 1-0 down. He's been talking to Jules.
David, you always pride yourself on set pieces and not conceding from them, but you were undone by 2 today in this game.
Yeah, we were undone. Really disappointed. It's not something we do a lot. We don't concede a lot from corner kicks, but today have to praise Tottenham. Good delivery, good, well worked. Thomas Frank's always done that wherever he's been, and we get caught with it a wee bit today.
But there were large parts of the game that you were relatively comfortable in.
Oh, we played well today. No, we had as much of the game as Tottenham and probably as many chances in the end. So, where you started, where your first question was, we got undone with set pieces, and that's what happened. I hoped that we would undo them with set pieces, but it wasn't to be.
What do you put that down to then? Is it just in front of goal? Is it just that confidence? You are building something here, aren't you? You forced their keeper into 2 brilliant reaction saves. Yeah,
well, look, we need to be more clinical and be a bit more creative in that. How can we make better chances if that's what we get? But undoubtedly we had enough opportunities to try and make it happen, but we couldn't get it. Praise Tottenham, they've been pretty strong defensively, showed that today as well.
How do you go about then getting those chances, converting them? Not that you're not getting them, but getting them into the back of the net.
Well, keep practicing, don't you? We can't change the players we've got. That's what we have. So we keep practicing with them. You know, hopefully the goals will come for them. Yeah, I don't know any other answer to that than keep going.
You did have the ball in the back of the net, and it was a superb header by Jake. What's your reaction to that?
I've now seen it here, and I think it was the right decision. It wasn't a goal. Hard to take, but I think in the end it was the right decision.
Because was it just decision making then with Undai? Just he was the one ruled offside.
Yeah, I think just the position he took up with the goalkeeper. I think if it had happened to me, then I'd have been complaining it's an offside goal.
So how do you react to this now? Because you obviously want to continue where you left off. You had this fantastic start here at home.
Yeah, well, we don't need to react in any big fashion because I think we've done a really good job. And the players today, I thought they've done a good job. We're playing a good Tottenham team at the moment. They're in the Champions League, so we put on a decent enough show without just having the moments. Again, go back to it. We did get undone by set pieces mainly today, and that was a bit which caused the problems.
But overall, I spoke to you before the game and saying Tottenham was quite a significant change when you came back after beating them at Goodison Park, and how far you feel you've come in those 9 months since as a team when you come up against them today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we've certainly moved on. Obviously, the move from the stadium, the position we were in at that time was needed to improve. We've been doing pretty well. Today's our first defeat at the stadium since we've come back, or since we've come to it, I should say. But look, we'll win more games. We'll do that. If the players keep performing the way they're doing, we'll pick up more points.
David, thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Sport Lab. Tottenham Hotspur have done it again, another dominant display, another clean sheet, and a set-piece masterclass at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Mickey van der Ven scored twice, Pape Sarr added the icing on the cake, and Ange Postecoglou's men cruised to a 3-0 win over Everton. Let's break down all the action. It didn't take long for Spurs to stamp their authority. Just 20 minutes in, Mohamed Kudus swung in a dangerous corner to the back post. Rodrigo Bentancur nodded it back across goal and Mickey van de Ven was there to power home the header. Thomas Frank-style set pieces paying off yet again for Tottenham. Everton thought they'd equalised moments later, Jake O'Brien rising highest to head in from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall's corner. But VAR stepped in. Jack Grealish and Iliman Ndiaye were both offside in the build-up. The goal was chalked off, and Spurs punished that let off deep into first half stoppage time. In the 45th plus 6th minute, another corner, this time from Pedro Porro, looped over Jordan Pickford's reach, and once again, Van de Ven was there to nod home his second of the match. Everton went into half-time 2 goals down, and Spurs were cruising. Everton tried to rally in the second half, but couldn't find a breakthrough. Then, in the 89th minute, Spurs added the finishing touch. A lofted cross found Richarlison, who cleverly headed the ball down for Pape Sarr. The young midfielder guided his header past Pickford and into the far corner to make it 3-0. Clinical, ruthless, confident, Tottenham's improvement on set pieces under Ange Postecoglou is remarkable. 3 of their last 5 goals have come from corners, and this match was a perfect example of well-drilled execution. Van de Ven's timing, Bentancur's awareness, and Porro's delivery, all spot on. And at the back, another clean sheet. Everton barely threatened as Spurs controlled possession and tempo throughout. So there it is, Everton 0, Tottenham 3. Mickey van de Ven's first career brace, Pape Sarr's late finish, and a Spurs side looking sharper and stronger every week. Everton suffer their first home defeat of the season, while Tottenham keep climbing. Who was your man of the match, Van de Ven or Bentancur? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more Premier League breakdowns only on Sport Lab. See you next time.